This season at Formula 1, we saw one of the best races of the decade. Recent rules and regulations have made it a fair point to give every racer a fighting chance with a budget cap to eliminate any unfair advantage that comes with spending, and it seems like it has worked. This has made the races even more intense, and the competition is on a whole new level. A sport dominated by Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton recently saw a new champion, and now it's Red Bull's Max Verstappen's turn to defend the title. Even though they're both highly decorated individuals, last year saw the controversial win, and the problems in last year's season meant that this year all eyes would mostly be on Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. But with the new rules and George Russell having a massive upgrade to the Mercedes team, it seems like there's going to be a lot going on this year. Lewis Hamilton has a lot under his belt with 103 victories, with 82 in Mercedes and 21 in a McLaren. But something very unexpected has happened this year. FIA's new regulation of a budget cap would restrict teams from gaining an unfair advantage where they spend a huge sum to make their way to a better performance car. This was the primary reason Fernando Alonso, the most experienced F1 racer, made a comeback. The 40-year-old said, "So it has been 1.5 years waiting for these cars. F1's new rules, which feature a complete redesign of the cars, are aimed at delivering better racing. Together with a more restrictive cost cap, they could put more teams in the mix at the front, if not completely reset the competitive order." Renault-owned Alpine, however, are tempering hope with realism. But Charles Leclerc stole the spotlight with Ferrari as he gave the 2021 champion a tough time in Saudi Arabia and devoured the circuit in Bahrain. This year, we saw some of the best battles between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. This time around, Ferrari had the right car and their performance was paralleled. Verstappen is the champion and Charles might take the trophy this time. They started their career almost together. They've been competing since their karting days. This is like the old times now, and Ferrari seems to have a high probability of bagging the trophy this season. With Charles winning his first world championship, born in 1997, Charles and Max started their career at a very young age with their first encounter in the KF3 class South Garda Winter Cup, the race where Verstappen would finish in second place and Charles would end up at the 20th position. Keep in mind that at this point Max had more experience than Charles. They also went on to compete in the WSK Euro Series and the CIK FIA World Championship, where Max yet again proved to be superior to Charles. Now, the recent matches were very interesting. In the Bahrain Grand Prix, Charles managed to dominate the circuit with Max Verstappen, running into some issue which the Red Bull team assessed as a fuel system problem, which ultimately also made Sergio Perez retire. This year's Mercedes are not in a good form, it seems, but still George Russell is doing fairly well as compared to his former champion partner. But still, the team is very happy about where they are and the points they have secured. Ferrari might be leading the season with Charles Leclerc showing high potential. Charles Leclerc said, "The last 2 years have been incredibly difficult for the team," said Leclerc. "Now starting in the best way possible, pole position, victory, fastest lap, 1-2 with Carlos, we couldn't have hoped for any better." His teammate Carlos Sainz perhaps best summed up how the feeling will be at their base in Maranello on Sunday evening. Ferrari is properly back with a 1-2 where the team should be. He said, "We saw Lewis Hamilton finish 10th while Max and Charles had a very close wheel-to-wheel battle where Max overtook and won by 0.5 seconds in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Ferrari secured 2 podiums, 2nd and 3rd with Sergio Perez from the Red Bull in 4th. Now he could have finished 3rd, but the safety car hampered his timing." The battle was, to say the least, very satisfying with their fans on the edge of their seats, looking at Red Bull and Ferrari struggling to lead. Lap 41 and we saw Verstappen take the lead and pace away from Charles, but at the DRS, he swiftly took his spot back, and on lap 47, he made sure he had the DRS on his side and overtook him again. The battle was fierce and we were all uncertain about the winner. Charles was behind him like a tail until the Lance Stroll and Alex Albon collision happened with a double yellow flag, which just made the race more diverse and vibrant. They were at it till the end, but Max Verstappen took this one by milliseconds. Hamilton did start from 15th on the grid and he made good progress throughout the circuit, but he failed to pit during the virtual safety car period. It seems like the former champion is not in good shape this year, as he was in the 10th position that day with Kevin Magnussen in the 9th, and it's still a very strong position for the Haas team. George Russell could come into the picture later in the season as he is one of the best drivers in the sport right now, and he finished the circuit in the 5th position. And on the 6th we had Esteban Ocon representing Alpine, which is a good result for them. Could be lucky this time as Perez comfortably led the circuit up until the 16th lap when Red Bull decided to pit him while Leclerc was still out there making his way through. The Nicholas Latifi crash which prompted the safety car, which was an easy window for everyone to pit without any fear of being overtaken. This was the reason why Perez gave up his position to Leclerc and later Verstappen intervened. I know it was really tough but a good race. We were battling hard at the front, but we just tried to play the long game. They were really quick through corners, we were quick on the straights, said Verstappen. The tires were wearing out quite quickly. We could see the end, we had a little bit more pace so we tried to get by. It wasn't easy playing smart tricks in the last corner, but eventually I managed to get ahead. But even after that he was constantly in the DRS, and then with the yellow flags in the last lap, just knowing how much you should lift, what is allowed or not, it was tough. But just really happy to finally kickstart the season, Verstappen added. But Davidson, the Sky F1 broadcaster, might think the race was entirely fueled by anger. Well, I know it's not a professional thing to say for these top-notch drivers, and they are seen pretty chill on the camera, but Davidson has something to say about their race in 2019 when they were in Austria, and Max was hunting down Charles towards the end of the race. Davidson told Sky Sports, "With 2 or 3 laps remaining, Max had to go at a turn 3 hairpin, didn't make it stick the first time because he didn't really squeeze Charles and gave him room around the outside, and Charles came back and that was all fair. The next lap, however, he pushed him off the track, and I don't think Charles has ever forgiven him for that. I think Charles, every time he is with Max now, treats him differently, and that's what I immediately say came into play in Bahrain. Max will have to rethink how he races him. I think going forward from here, it'll be interesting." The next world champion is very uncertain, and Alonso's performance on the track has given the Alpine team a very good indication that things are going good. Things are looking very good for Ferrari as well, but the sport is dynamic and anything can happen in the future. It is only a couple of races and there's already a title between Max and Charles already. It seems like last year's controversial championship F Formula 1 is up for a revamp and things are getting even more interesting. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.